Of Tech Zone viewers, welcome back to my channel. So this is the continuation of our continued MuleSoft ACB series, and here I am going to discuss few points about the recent release that has happened. It is the release, and it's async API beta release. So you can see the documentation. I always insist you guys, the best resource ever is not even my YouTube channel or any other YouTube channels or websites. The best way to learn MuleSoft is the official MuleSoft documentation. The only thing why we make videos is to help you to get familiarized with the topics. So please go through the documentation, and here is the release notes of recent release of MuleSoft ACB, that is Async API beta. So it has implemented the features for implementing the async APIs. So even before going to discuss about this async APIs, how to import that into your ACB, Anypoint Code Builder, I wanted to tell you that once you log into your Anypoint platform account, so I'll show you. Currently it is already like async API beta version for Anypoint Code Builder is enabled for my account. But even before that, I wanted to show you, I have recorded small thing. So you need to join the beta version here. So once you log into your Anypoint platform account and click on Anypoint Code Builder, you need to click on join beta and accept the agreement and try to get access of that. Okay, so once you accept, you can click on get access. If at all, and once you get access, it will say like it is enabled for your organization. And once you get access, and if you are not able to see the enable access button, probably this beta version is still not yet supported for your account. Okay, so once you have enabled, it says like now async implementation beta version is enabled for your organization. Now once this is done, the very next thing that you have to do is upgrading of your extension pack. I have already done it, but the best way to do is like you can always go to the extension tab over here, and it will automatically show that you need to update your Anypoint Code Builder API extension. Okay, if you see that like there is an option to update, you have to update it and reload your Visual Studio. All right, so now before implementing this async API, I wanted to just give you a glance about how to create an API spec. If you're not familiar with async API specs, so it's always good like go through the documentation. There is a small example that you can copy and try it out. So in Design Center, the thing you have to do is like click on create. You have an option for new async API. Okay, you can name your project and you can specify your specific language, whether you want to go with YAML or you want to go with JSON. You can always choose your specification language and create a project. There was an example in documentation, so you can always go through like async API MuleSoft example, and if you click it, you can always see some examples. Oops. So you can go to the documentation and you can find the examples. I think I can give you the link in the comment. Okay, finding that. So I have created one async API like that. You can see here the name of the project is my async API, and the project type here you can see is like async API. The type itself is async API. Normal RESTful applications, you will see that as the API specification. Now I am going through async API. I have copy pasted the code that is present in the examples. Here you can see the description, how it looks. Basically, you know that async APIs are nothing but like pub sub models. Basically, it's not a REST API. You won't be having HTTP listener. Basically, you will be publishing, you will be subscribing or publishing to the queues. It can be Anypoint MQ, it can be a Kafka MQ, it can be a Amazon SQS. How to define them? I am not going in detail about the API specifications, but you can always define your servers under your servers category, and you can mention your, like for example, if it is Anypoint MQ, you can define your URL. Protocol is a required parameter where you can define your protocol, whether it is Anypoint MQ or Kafka or whatever it is. Then protocol version, this is something I have added. I'm not sure if it works, but you can go with like Anypoint MQ, Kafka, the protocol. Why I'm insisting on these details is whenever you are implementing this async API into your ACB, like when you are loading this into ACB, you can see that this global element, in the global elements tab, the configurations are already created for you. Okay, I will show you that. But for now, you can see like there are four, like I think like 5 different API channels. One is for order placed, order update, order cancelled, order confirmed, and order back order. So we have publish and subscribe. So now let's go to Anypoint Code Builder and try to import this project. So once we are in Anypoint Studio, I told you like you have to go to the extensions. Again, even before going to extensions, it is always best practice whether you are to check whether you have logged into the Anypoint platform or not. Okay, once it shows like you are logged in, you can probably like update your extension packs and reload it. And next thing that you have to go is like click on this Anypoint Code Builder, this MuleSoft icon on my left side, and click on implement an API. Okay, once you click on implement an API, you can mention your project name, my first async API. Okay, now this is another good feature that I liked it. Like once you have logged into Exchange portal, you don't have to again relog into your this thing in Exchange. You can always search asset by name directly over here. So what is my API name is like my async API is my specification name. So I will search with async here, like click on search by asset name and click on async. So here you can see there is my API specification, my async API, and the type is async API. All that you need to do is click on add asset. So once you have clicked on add asset, rest Mule runtime and Java version is like you can choose your own versions. Just click on create project. Now see what all files are generated once while it is scaffolding your project. Okay, so once the scaffolding is successful, you can see there is a project that was created on my left side, and there is a default flow that is created, default XML file that is created under Mule folder, that is flows.xml. So in this is where your flows will be scaffolded and generated. Okay, so if I go to the flow list, you have to get familiar because like not all flows will be showed in one single plane. So it will be like flow list. Okay, you can choose your own flow. You can choose your flow that you wanted to edit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 channels here. So all the 5 channels flows are generated over here. So I am showing here. So this is like API kit router for async API. Okay, this is generated, and you can see the channel name. If you drop down, you can choose your channel names. Like there are 5 different channels, so of course by default it will generate each flow for each channel. So this is the channel name that you can select. Okay, and the servers, so servers here, like the list of servers that you wanted. Okay, this got generated based upon like whatever I have defined in my async API. For example, if I go to order cancel, I am using the server AMQ Pro. Okay, if I choose let me go order cancel here. Okay, and click on this listener, you can see AMQ Pro is there. So this is how it will generate the flows. Now as we said, like all flows are generated under the flows.xml. There is another file, global configs.xml, that has been generated automatically. This file is not something that I have created. This was automatically created once we have imported our API spec. Here another thing that you can observe is like it has created the configurations for you. So you can see like consumer, any, there are like 4 different configurations that were created. One is for Kafka producer and consumer, and the other one is like for Anypoint MQ configuration. So default configurations will be created based upon the details that you have given. So you can see like it has created a Anypoint MQ connection with client ID and client secret. You can see that there is some property file value being imported here. We will see that because, and then URL, whatever URL you have defined over in your API spec here, it will, so this is the URL, right, that we have given. It will try to replicate over here. And as I said, like we saw some like couple of property file values, which means somewhere it has created a property file, right? So if you go to the resources tab, so when you are scaffolding this API spec, the async API spec, it will also create you a dev property files for you, which will have this details like Anypoint MQ server, client app, client ID secret, and API path. So These are the three different flows that will be generated when you're scaffolding a async API spec. One is flows.xml, which has all the configuration details and stuff. And the second one is like global config XML, which has default configurations for Kafka and Anypoint MQ. And there is one property file which has the details of Anypoint MQ, where you can add more than whatever details you want inside this property file. Another thing I wanted to show you here is in pom.xml, as we have scaffolded this raml, you can see this dependency has been added. You can see like the classifier is evented API. Okay, so now you can implement your business logic based upon the publish subscribe model. Okay, and publish your API just like anything. Like you can just go here, search, and you can like publish, or you can go to show run commands and MuleSoft publish. Give me 1 second. Go command MuleSoft, search for MuleSoft, and you can like deploy to CloudHub or whatever it is the option is. So once you have made your changes, or once you have done your logic, you can always go and publish your API spec. All right, so this is what I wanted to show you, like how to import your API spec, like async API specs, for example. And yep, this is the latest release that we got from ACB, and we keep getting the ACB keeps getting better. That's what I have observed. So as I always say, like you need to get familiar with Visual Studio and try to put your hands on the XMLs and all, so that like this lightweighted tool will definitely help a lot for you to your improve your productivity. I hope you like this video. I will be making more videos on ACB in future. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, and don't forget to subscribe our channel for the latest updates. Thank you.